It's Not Another Buffalo Podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John.
All you people out there who are like, these idiots don't know anything. First of all, you're right. And second of all,
Pat.
I'm just a dad talking in a closet, but I'm just saying.
And Brando.
We have this trust built on whatever it is, like Bibles and gold bricks and whatever Brandon Bean's drinking over there.
all right, welcome back to Not Another Buffalo Podcast. I'm John. I'm here with the boys, Pat and Brando, here on a Victory Tuesday. Stress-free win. How we feeling?
Kind of felt bad for Gino.
I feel that. You're in your home stadium. You usually have that 12th man advantage, and everything goes wrong. Literally everything.
It's tough. The center had a rough day. Film for him would not be ideal. As a coach, I'm ripping him a new one. I don't know about any other coaches. You're stepping on your quarterback's foot. You're launching the ball. Like he took a lot of points off the board, and we talk about turnovers leading to points, right? That's why turnovers are bad. If you have a thrown interception, you make them punt, or like Josh did, you throw the interception and you stop him on the goal line, whatever. It's fine. This is just nothing. But it's you're taking away points, and they needed them. And it's cool to see that the Bills were able to put their foot down on the throat of a Seahawk.
Morbid. Well, Pat, you can probably be a little bit less morbid than this. Like, how does I'll ask you this? Like, in hindsight, which is a better memory, a stress-free win like we had, or like a stressful win where you pull it out at the last second? Like, which one of those? I don't know what a good game example of that would be. The Bills haven't really pulled one out at the last second this year, have they?
No, I always think
the Cardinals game.
Sorry. I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
the fourth quarter comeback / take the lead in the fourth quarter. But I don't know. I always think of that Denver Broncos game in 2020 where Jake Kumro has the catch in between like four dudes, and we beat the Broncos like 45-7 or something, is like one of my fondest Bills memories. But
it's a great game.
It's so funny thinking of that game too, because like one of my fondest memories is when they went into San Francisco. I think it was that same year, and beat the doors off of a great defense. And I just have really fond memories of that game because it was like Josh was making plays. It was stress-free. I just think that for me, the stressful ones are much worse, even if they pull it out at the end, especially if it's against a not so great team. If it's against a great team, then maybe, I don't know maybe that would be Baltimore last year. Remember when they were down Baltimore
down 17,
and then they came back? I don't have as many fond memories of that game though, in hindsight.
No,
it was great that they came back.
And then the crazy thing is too, like you look at the records, and I don't know. I guess I just thought the NFC West would be better than it is. It is crazy that I think there's three teams at
500 or less.
Yeah, there's no team in the division.
They
has a winning record.
might all be decent though. I feel like they all could be decent. It's one of those divisions they're going to beat up on each other, swap games here and there. But 9-7 or what is it? 10-7 wins it maybe.
Yeah, probably. And there's a strong case for that the Rams are the best team in that division when healthy, but they've just been beat up. So like, who knows who's going to come out of there. And Call of Duty's out now. I know the Kyler joke is like we've stomped on it on this podcast like way too much, but actually I saw data charts of his distribution.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
There's data. It's just not just a narrative. Like it's
not the eye test.
Correlational data. Maybe he just slopes downwards as seasons progress for some reason, but that.
So two things, John. One, we're talking about 2020 games. You could throw the Seattle game from 2020.
Oh yeah, no, that is true. That is that we're like underdogs by a lot in that game too. Sorry, I was just getting hyped.
I don't know if we were underdogs, but that was Seattle pushed the score a little bit. They scored on us, so we got to see Josh Allen unleashed. And I watched those highlights, man. It's really cool to see John Brown and Steph Diggs and Cole Beasley all on the field at the same time. So then to see Cooper, Shakir, and Coleman out there again, our new trio, doing the same thing to them that we did to them 4 years ago was sweet. I thought that was, it's taken a long time to get that personnel, that fluid, poetry in motion offense that we have been dying for. And it looks like we had it again. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, that was definitely the best part about it for me. I've got some trivia for you guys to go along with that, with this poetry in motion that we've had for this past week. This is from I stole this from Matt Warren on Twitter at Matt Rich Warren, obviously our old buddy from Buffalo Rumblings and SB Nation now. So Buffalo this past Sunday had a 100-yard rusher in James Cook with 111 yards and a 100-plus yard receiver, Korzelius with 107 yards in the same game for the first time since week 14 of, I'm not going to tell you the year. So when was the last time that Buffalo had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in the same game?
Great question.
It's a little bit of a trick question-ish, but...
Is Josh Allen the 100-yard rusher?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the trick question part of it.
It's got to be a Dolphins game with Diggs at 100 and Allen at 100.
I'd say that's a fair bet.
Older.
100 yards. Jacksonville, when we played Jacksonville.
Is it Cole Beasley and Josh Allen?
It's not this year. It's quite a few years ago.
Is it
if I give you the
Allen?
Year...
Or it might be Robert Foster or something. Like super throwback.
It's Robert Foster.
It is? Okay. Yeah.
Josh Allen and Robert Foster, week 14 of 2018 versus the Jets was the last time that the Buffalo Bills had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in the same game. Isn't that crazy?
McDermott's probably like elated with excitement to have a 100-yard rusher. But only over
the rushing part. Only about the rushing part. He could care less about a receiver over 100 yards.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit because this is going to lead perfectly into my part about McDermott. Maybe more about Joe Brady, you might say. But did you know, gentlemen, the offense looked better this week? Let me tell you why. Why do you ask? Why does it look better? I will tell you why it looked better, because the Bills did not get into second and third and longs. Do you know why they didn't get into second and third and longs this week, John?
Is it because they ran play action on first down?
I will tell you.
Pat's being snarky over there.
No time for snark when it comes to this topic, gentlemen. I am serious about running the ball on first down. So in snaps that mattered, there was 28 first down plays when the game was close. McDermott and Brady. I just put McDermott in here because I know he's involved. He is telling Joe Brady to run the ball on these first downs. I don't care what you say. If you know Joe Brady, you watched him at all in the past, you watched him at LSU, you watch him play Madden, whatever it is, you know he doesn't want to run the ball on first down. So anyways, I digress. Joe Brady and Josh Allen passed for 17 times on first down, and they only ran it 11 times on first down. And they got their neutral pass run rate up to 9th highest for passing in the league now. So they cracked the top 10. They're moving up like a little snail. So if you're McDermott or you're anybody else in that room that has a brain and you watched film and you're like, oh, we didn't get stuck in the muck on second down. Oh, we didn't get stuck in the muck on first down. Why do you say? It's because we passed the ball more than we ran the ball on first down. I'm done now.
That was a good rant. I didn't want you to stop. I love the play action shots. The one thing that I'll still complain about is they're not taking shots on second and short. Every single second and short that I can remember that was 2nd and 3 or less, they're running the ball. Yep. And that's probably the second most predictable part of their offense, I think, at this point. But
now, the only reason that I'm not here to complain about it, and I was trying to think of something to complain about today, but
you seem like you were here to complain about it. It's all right to complain. It's all right to complain.
I couldn't find really a lot to complain about. I was very, very happy with most of this thing, but it's what you just said. It's the second down and short. Take your shot. You have a quarterback who on third or fourth down and short can pick it up for you. We did see a Josh Allen sweep finally, which was nice. Yep. Love that. Take the shot to Keon. Take the shot to Cooper. Take the shot to Shakir. I don't care. I don't care if it's incompletion, but I feel like this might come a little bit later as we have seen it already evolve to this point because they're watching Allen take such good care of the ball that, maybe they call that play last year or the year before. Dayball calls that play and Allen throws a pick. And that's McDermott's freaking out, right? Dayball and McDermott are button heads in the locker room. Why did you call that on second and second and 3 when we could run the ball? So to see, this evolution of the offense come around, maybe that's coming. Maybe it will in a bigger game. But also, as long as James Cook is going to produce on these second and thirds, he picks up 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, I'm not going to be mad about it. So
yeah, Yeah, he usually is. Like, to be fair, like, they usually are successful plays. I just think, in those situations, it's so good to go play action because everyone's expecting run. Usually you're getting a favorable coverage at that point too, because, if you're passing on first down all the time, teams are in usually pass first mode on defense as well. So it's like going against your own tendencies, I think, is a really good thing. And so as long as they keep mixing it up on a week to week and they're not like so stale on first down running the ball like they have been, then I'll be fine with it. And again, there's very little to complain about when you win and score 30 plus points. Like, yeah. I get it.
It's also could be real deep chess here from the coaching staff to have them opponents see on film how much they run it on second down. And then again, fingers crossed, we're hoping that it changes and they hit a couple of these deeper play action passes later on in the year as they, have to put some wrinkles in here. I don't know. We're fishing here. I'm fishing for this.
No. That's not fishing because I kind of think about that stuff too, because we, as fans, we're like, do you hold anything back for the playoffs? And I don't, we're not in those rooms. We'll not really know for sure if that's actually the case, because it takes a lot to dial up a win against any given NFL team each week. You can't save stuff for later. I mean, you can save some stuff, but it's not like you're, setting, but maybe that would benefit the Bills a little bit. Like after all these playoff disappointments, do you think they're like, hey guys, maybe we got to plan for this playoff run a little bit because getting there is only half the battle and the other half is what happens in the playoffs, which hasn't historically gone well for the Bills. So,
well, to bring some snark into this, you say, they're thinking about it, and McDermott's like, no, we don't need to think about that. We're gonna, punt on 4th and 2, and we are going to run it on first down, and we are going to misuse timeouts and be bad at clock management in the playoffs. He doesn't want to think about that.
That's true. Fire the snark cannon.
Pew, pew, pew.
Do you guys, I was going to say, I don't want to completely transition us away from the Bills really quick, but we were just talking about Brian Daboll. I just want to get your guys' opinion. Do you think he makes it through the year in New York at this rate after Monday Night Football last night? The Daniel Jones experiment is over. As far as we can see, it looks like he's getting called out in press conferences and stuff like that. Do you see Brian Daboll making it through the end of the year?
I mean, I guess that comes down to, I don't know. I mean, I think Daniel Jones is what is it, John Mara? I think he's the owner. I guess he would be Mara's guy, and whoever the general manager would be. I mean, when you think about it, really, Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. I mean, I guess they can be accountable for other personnel decisions, but I feel they would have to be given a fair shot.
That's true. They were the ones who gave Daniel Jones that extension too.
That's what they're on the hook for, right? They gave him $40 million.
Right.
But were they ever in a position to get the best quarterback? You heard it on Hard Knocks, Joe Schoen talking about moving up with the Patriots maybe to make a play at quarterback. And then their discourse back and forth was, well, or we just get a weapon because we invested this into Daniel Jones and we need to see what we have first. So I think just from those little conversations that we heard on Hard Knocks, that they're going to get a chance to get a guy that they want.
I would hope so. I mean, if you're, that they're not most of the problem, right? It's there's a short leash in the NFL, but if I'm the owner of that team, I'm like, you messed up by keeping this guy around and you didn't really need to know what you had. Everyone in the world, us armchair GMs knew what you had. He's been there for he's off of his rookie contract. Has Daniel Jones been in the league for 6 or 7 years? Was he the year after Josh Allen?
2 years after Josh, I think.
2 years after Josh? 1 year after Josh? 1 year AJ?
I just remember working at Damon at my work study job, probably my junior year of college, with the Duke game on TV, and they're talking about Daniel Jones, and I'm like, who is this guy? That was my first knowledge of him, and I'm like, I will never hear of him again. And then he's way down the draft board in the Giants take, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. But one other non-Bills question I have for you guys: who do you think is the biggest dumpster fire in the AFC East?
It's the Jets. It's not close. It's the Jets. You can't argue anybody else. It's the Jets. There's no question.
I kind of who's the second? It's interesting debating Miami versus New England, right? Because you're okay, Miami just got Tua back, but their season's kind of over unless they go on a historic run here.
They got to go 7-2 to finish the season.
7-2, probably. Yeah. I was gonna say, what are they? 2-5?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-7 probably is the wild card there. So chalk up one loss to the Bills probably. I think. Yeah. I want to say that's a pretty good bet, but I don't know.
I don't think you can put Miami in this. It's not fair to Tua that he misses. He's so like, say what you want about these Dolphins. I don't care. Tua's good. They are good with him in the lineup outside of these games against the Bills for some unknown reason. But when he's not there, they're missing 20. They drop like from like 32 points a game to like 12 points a game.
Not even 12, I don't think. I think it was like 10 points a game.
I think it was like 11. And they scored like 44 total points in the 4 games that Tua was out.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was like 30-3 or something like that.
It's crazy. It's insane. I feel bad for Dolphins fans. I feel bad for Tua. It's just you hooked your ring to the wrong horse here, guys. And no matter what, this is going to be a storyline for his entire career. But I don't want to fault the Dolphins for being a dumpster fire. They're probably winning a couple games if Tua's still in. They probably go 3-1 or 2-2 at the worst with Tua over their last 4 games. So
right, they're set up to run it back next year, right? Like they've got some cap issues and stuff like that, and some weird contracts, but I don't think they have to break it down to rebuild. Where it's like if you're the Jets, like
you want to talk about fire? We're talking about like a wildfire. What are you going to do next year? Like the forest. Like do we owe Zach Wilson an apology? I don't think anyone ever owes Zach Wilson an apology, but like, there's no easy fix. You have to take a quarterback. I saw that they would be picking 5th right now in the draft. But if Rodgers wants to come back again, do you let him? Like, what do you do? It's so bad. You set your franchise back. Think about it. If Rodgers plays again, that's one more year that you don't know what you're going to get. He's going to be older. Then you draft a rookie. So we're talking 2 years from now. Rookie season, comes back as a sophomore. You hope he's good. So that's 3 years from now that we're looking at a potential Jets contender.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I'd like them to get to 17. That way, they would be at the same level of drought that we were.
That'd be awesome. But I never thought about that. Yeah,
that'd be a good record to have broken, right?
Yes. I would like them to extend past the Sabres drought as well, because they're linked. The Jets and the Sabres both have the longest drought in pro sports right now. So I'd like the Sabres to knock that one down.
Yeah, no, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got some fill in the blanks here. Do you guys want to get to that?
Let's do it.
All right. We had some fun ones this weekend. So Pat called the Browns game in Game Picks last week, right? So extra credit for Pat calling Jameis and pulling out the stat in his back pocket. Can you repeat that stat for us, Pat?
He's the most efficient playoff passer of all time. He is, I believe, 1 for 1 with 1 touchdown and 56 yards passing.
Brilliant. I love it. So plenty of good, if we had quotes with Pat today, I feel like they'd all be Jameis Winston quotes, because like, did you guys see his post-game interviews? He was mic'd up for the pregame speech. Yeah. Like everything was great. The Eminem quote, he said there's a, what'd he say? There's a white boy from Detroit that I admire. And then he starts quoting the 8 Mile soundtrack. It's just great. So anyway, we thought we'd do a fill in the blank. If he wasn't an NFL quarterback, Jameis Winston would excel as
a lobster salesman. Apparently he knows where to get some for free.
You might have to look on Wikipedia for that one.
I'm going to piggyback onto this one, Pat, and I'm going to say he would excel as a member on the Deadliest Catch.
Oh, there you go. The crab experts.
The hard-working way to get crab.
Yes. I mean, he worked hard at Florida State. We're not saying you didn't work hard, Jameis, but
none of this is with slander. It's all for humor.
That's true. Jameis Winston would excel as a touring elementary school motivational speaker.
Come to my school, Jameis.
Heck yeah. He would excel as a NBC NFL color analyst with real-time bleeps, but he's unedited on Patreon.
I like that model. Future revenue model, I think, for NFL broadcasting. I'm going to say Mount Everest climbing instructor. There's one thing that the guy's good at. It's motivational speeches. Can you imagine that guy walking you up the mountain like you're freezing to death and like you're almost dead, and he's like, I am so blessed to have the opportunity to take us both off this mountain. Yada, yada, yada.
But it's like, I feel like his charm is that you can never really tell how serious he is. And he looks like he's like on the verge of laughing as he's saying like something super serious. I think he would excel as an NFL helmet decal designer.
Nice. Did you see his quote about the decal on the... Yeah. He's like, we just have a collar, no decals. All right, we're going to play for our names on the back and yeah, go get them, guys. Yeah. It was funny.
It's too good.
I was going to say an insurance salesman.
Yep.
He will tell you why you can't live without it.
Yep.
That is very true.
Social media televangelist.
He would be good. I was going to say like congressman or senator, but I feel like televangelist would be best suited for Jameis. He has some God-related content in interviews. He is a spiritual...
He's a religious man.
Yeah. Pat, you got any more? You tapped?
Well, I have elementary school phys ed teacher, but I don't know if he could do as good a job as Brando.
Go teach
he wouldn't be to the same level as Brando. Let's just be real. Subpar.
We're kind of cut from the same cloth. You said it. We give these little speeches, but we can't tell if we're being serious or we're trying not to laugh.
Just so the listeners know, Jameis would be at a much lower level than Brando. He would have to...
work his way up.
Well, he would have to set an example for the students first and foremost. But.
The criminal record would keep him out of schools in the northern states. No offense.
Hey, you didn't put a spin on anything. You just said facts. It just happened to be funny.
Yeah. I have written down here a Jehovah's Witness. He would excel at just knocking door to door.
Oh yeah. So yeah. And the last one I have is a campaign speechwriter, kind of on that same like congresswoman politician thing, but I think he'd be good at writing the speeches. He'd also be good at giving the speeches.
Yes.
So
just make him president, man. Right? Just do it.
Heck yeah.
I have a military commander as well. But again, it's not like he's not serious enough to be like, get in there. Be like, oh, you should go in there, man.
Well, kind of like what Pat was saying. Like, you never know if he's like fully serious or not. You'd be like scared of him because you're like, is he joking or is he not joking now?
He's like giving the speech before the Doolittle raid in World War II where the guy's like, look at the person to your left, look at the person to your right. Yeah, one of them will be dead. And then he's like, winks.
Oh my God. All right. I'm tapped. Who's got any left?
Yeah, I'll tap out. I was going to say he would be best suited for ambassador of tourism for Galveston, Texas, because he talked about how Mike Evans was from water, but it wasn't like beach water.
Well, he said if you're born near water, you are a different human being. Did you see that? That was another funny interview.
Right. Oh my God. What a introspective philosophical dude.
Yes.
But speaking of not introspective philosopher dudes, philosophical dudes, Patty Mahomes, despite leading the NFL in interceptions and throwing more interceptions than touchdowns and probably playing the worst that he's played in his career, is still number 2 in MVP odds, according to some of the sports books out there. So name someone more out of place than Patrick Mahomes being number 2 in MVP odds.
The Jets in the playoffs.
Got him.
Sabres in the playoffs.
Oh.
Not for long.
Tom Brady in the broadcast booth.
Oh, John, I'm gonna feel bad if you said this one, but Harrison Butker in the kitchen.
No.
That's hilarious.
That's good.
Aaron Rodgers at a flu shot clinic.
Nice.
Don't get it. They make you feel sick.
Josh Gordon hosting a DARE assembly.
Yes.
That's funny.
Let's see. Greg Zuerlein working at a youth kicking camp.
Oh.
Adam Gase as an NFL head coach.
Oh.
No.
Like we said before, thank you, Adam, for all the dubs.
Yep.
Right. Kyrie Irving working at NASA. Flat earther.
George Lucas at a Star Trek convention.
Nice. Funny. You can't cross worlds, man. No. Can't do it.
Nope. Walter White as a dad on Malcolm in the Middle.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep. You just can't look him in the eye. You're like, I know what you did.
I mean, he's in his tighty whities in both series too. Like
that's so funny. He definitely is, and it's in the pilot in the first episode of Breaking Bad.
Oh, dude,
it's like the first thing you see. It's like the first thing you see is him with the camera doing his little. I did it because I love you, and then the police aren't even after him. Sorry, spoilers. It's an old show.
You're good. Fine. You're good.
He's naked in the Malcolm pilot too. That's not naked, but in the tighty whities. So
yep.
If you want some Bryan Cranston related content,
check him out.
What an ad for Bryan Cranston.
I love Bryan Cranston. Did you know the Seinfeld bit where he hits the nitrous is improv?
Yeah.
It wasn't written. He just did it.
Clip.
Yeah.
Is that the Junior Mint episode?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Or no, maybe he's the dentist guy.
That's when they have the dirty magazines at the dentist office, right?
And Jerry thinks that they're touching him when he's out, and the lady who's the helper, they don't know what's happening. So the things that were on TV in the 90s, boys.
We digress. Yes. Name someone more out of place than Patrick Mahomes being number 2 in MVP odds. Urban Meyer hosting a marriage counseling retreat.
Yeah, well, that's probably not his place anymore.
No.
Pat, you got anyone else got any more?
I'll say Tap. I was going to say Me at a Chapel Roan concert, but some of the songs are pretty catchy, so I don't know about that. But
I got one more. It is the season of elections, so I was going to say a Trump supporter at a Kamala rally.
Nice, yeah. My last one is Ray Lewis at a self-defense class.
Yes.
Boom, boom.
Wait, just because he is too good at self-defense, or because he doesn't need to defend himself?
He doesn't need help with self-defense, and also
he killed someone in self-defense too, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking about players that got
been there, done that.
In trouble earlier. We're talking about Winston and Kobe. Ray Lewis is a big one on that list. I don't have to mention that.
You might have to edit that. I don't think he killed that guy in self-defense, but funny for the bit.
It's well, that's the debatable part. Yeah, I actually had to. It's so funny, Pat. You know how I know this? Because sometimes on this show, Pat will fly off the handle and quote something, and then I have to fact check it on Wikipedia, and it's about 50-50 whether I can leave it in the show or not. So it's like, I don't know. How does that compare to? Let's make this transition. How does that compare to Pat's game pick record so far this year?
Slumped into almost 500. You boys are. I think there will be a new leader next week. I don't know. I feel like the hot hand.
We thought there was going to be a new leader this week, but I think there's a tie.
There is a tie on Mount Rushmore for first place. Pat coming in at 3-3. John got the 1-game edge because Jaden Daniels made the start. We got to switch that little switcheroo on the game pick scoreboard. So John and Pat are coming in at 26 and 22 apiece, tied for first place. But he is lurking. He is like a tiger. Tiger Woods on the back nine of a major. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 1 game back, but we'll see what happens with that. This is a tough week for game picks. The slate was not easy looking through the games. So as we're going through here, keep that in mind. There are a few injuries. Jordan Love probably should play a little questionable, but that's going to lead us into our first game. Could be the game of the week if you're in the NFC. The Lions are going to Lambeau. Divisional matchup, probably for first place in the division, I think, right? Detroit is -3.5 on the spread. They are favorites. I don't know how you can pick against the Lions if you have watched any of their football games in the last couple of weeks. They are the story of the NFL right now. David Montgomery throwing a touchdown pass. What trick play are they going to pull? Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I'd be with you. Or I am with you. I'm taking Detroit in this one. But if Jordan Love is healthy, the Packers match up pretty well on offense against the Lions on defense because the Packers have all those talented wide receivers. Detroit's biggest weakness is probably their secondary. But I mean, I didn't think the Packers looked like world beaters yet last week, even with Jordan Love at quarterback. So I'm going to go Detroit.
I am going to go also with the Lions. I was going to say that I was going to go Packers and then say caveat that if Jordan Love plays, I can.
We'll give it to you. We took it.
I'm gonna go Lions. I've already written it down. I'm already okay. No contingencies.
Even if Jordan Love plays, you're going Lions.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate the integrity there, Pat. He's playing like a champion at the top of the leaderboard here.
Well, there's double what ifs on this next game, so we'll have to We need to add a column for caveats now.
Yeah, well, this one does too, because mine's contingent on.
Okay, so we have New England going to Tennessee, and I'm a little lost here between the caveats here. I don't totally get what you're speaking of. Maybe I'm out of the loop. Who's missing? Right now it's Tennessee -3.5.
Drake May concussed. Dizzy.
Yeah,
Drake.
but Jacoby and Drake May are like.
Oh, dude, I feel like Drake May's a baller in comparison to Jacoby Brissett.
I think it makes a difference for sure. Also, is Will Levis going to ever come back from his mysterious shoulder injury, or are they going to keep him on the bench because he stinks?
They're keeping him on the bench, man.
So he was inactive for a second straight week after a bye week, by the way, too, before that. So he's been out 3 straight weeks.
It's just like that first game that he got hurt in, and Mason Rudolph goes down and leads like 2 scoring drives. And you can see Will Levis doing the arm roll on the sideline. He's throwing the ball. He goes up to his coach, and you can see his coach mouth.
I think I can do it, coach. And
Rudolph's taking one more, buddy. And guess what? You better get comfortable on that bench.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that, okay, I'll make my pick contingent. If Will Levis plays, I'm going to go New England. But for now, I'm going to go Tennessee. They're overdue for a moral victory, and New England's overdue for another loss. I think they just, they won a big game. They're going to win maybe 3 or 4 this year. So I think it's time for another loss for them. I mean, Tennessee probably also going to only win 3 games tops, 4 games tops. So this is the toilet bowl. This is for who gets a good draft pick, basically. So give me Tennessee in this one.
This is a big time game for the draft. I don't really care who's playing quarterback in this game. Drake May is the only one that spurs a little bit of attention, but I still think rookie quarterback. I'm taking New England. I'm taking the points. They win these games sometimes. It's going to be like 13-10, whatever. Give me the points. Who's watching this game?
True. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to go with Patriots. I mean, talking about watching games, talking about stressless victories, I'm sure that Lions-Titans game was just delightful to watch.
Dude, the first quarter, it was crazy. The first quarter and a half, I looked at it was like 21-14 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and I'm like, what is happening here? So there was a little excitement, and then the Lions just destroyed any sort of Titan-esque anything down there. So
yeah, we should be betting anytime touchdown scorers on the Lions game. Again, just making parlays of that.
All of them.
So
take somebody from everybody.
I'll take all of them.
Yeah. So,
but
this one, Pat, I am interested to see what you have written down here. We have
I've changed it.
The Chargers at the Browns. LA is a 1.5 point favorite. I also changed it. I had Cleveland first. I like the Winston story. He's getting weapons involved, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but that was the backup quarterback boost. What happens the second game when that backup quarterback plays? Usually it's down back to earth a little bit. Chargers are too good. Give me the Chargers to win this.
Yeah, I think this should be an overarching mathematical concept called the Jameis Winston sine wave roller coaster, whatever you want to call it. What goes up must come down. I think it's a down week. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I do. I think you guys make a lot of great points. Like I really do.
There's so much snark oozing from you right now, Pat.
I just feel like, I mean, let's say we're looking here at Chargers games, right? Mm-hmm. The Chargers have failed to score more than, it looks like, 26 points in a game. The Browns were in a very similar boat, and Jameis Winston said, I'll put up 29. So single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, but scored more points in his first start than the Chargers have scored all year. So give me the Browns for that reason.
If I'm going to lose a pick, I hope it is that one. I just, this is one of those games that, again, it could be 17-13. Who knows?
Pat, that was real sneaky changing your pick at the last minute here.
Yeah, well, and then I looked and it was in Cleveland.
It
was in Cleveland too, but
Yeah, that helps a lot. The Chargers aren't necessarily a great road team, but they should be a great road team because their home games are like road games for them too, because they get an equal number of fans showing up from the opposing team. So, but anyway.
The lone undefeated monster. We're going to call them monsters because we were just dying for them to lose. Tampa Bay is going to Arrowhead to play Kansas City. Baker Mayfield alone by himself, basically 1-11. No, Kansas City's minus 8.5 point favorites here. Pat, do you think they have a chance?
Well, Brandon, let me ask you, who's the only team to beat the Detroit Lions this year?
I can't remember, Pat. Who was that?
That would be those Tampa Bay Bucks. Even if they don't win, they'll cover.
Did Tampa have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin available for that game?
Yeah, I mean, they did. Okay. Mike Evans, Faith Evans, Heath Evans, Evan Almighty, doesn't matter.
Lee Evans.
Lee Evans, yeah.
Evan
Lee Evans
Almighty,
Call
Bruce
him
Almighty, Bruce Lee, Sarah Lee, Fred.
Twinkies. Yeah.
I'll get there. It always comes back to Twinkies. So Pat, you're taking the Bucks against the spread here? Bucks and the points?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll win, but they'll keep it close.
I was gonna say 8.5 is a lot of points, and Kansas City can't blow anybody out yet. And the Bucks, I thought that the Bucks were gonna get blown out this past week by Atlanta, and that ended up being kind of close there at the end. So they still can put up points at least. So maybe they can do that. Kansas City's defense is really good, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But yeah, give me 8.5 points out of pure spite. That's my pick. What do you think, Brando?
Well, you say it was kind of close in Atlanta. Let the scoreboard say that it was 31-17 up until garbage time. And that's a little bit of a blowout. I think this could be a sneaky blowout game where the Chiefs win.
Does garbage time count for the spread, Brando?
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Does it?
But I don't think Tampa's there. They're not going to score enough to make it close. But Kansas City could find their way to 25 points and still cover here. So I'm taking the Chiefs.
That's true. Well, I'm betting on them only getting to 20, and then all Tampa has to do is limp to 12 points, and then I'll be happy. So
yeah. I want to see your money where the mouth is. Send me the under 21 point bet slip.
I don't know. Also, Tampa Bay's passing defense is really bad, so maybe the Chiefs have their first get right pass game this week. So that's always a possibility.
I want you to not change your pick here. It's already written down. You already told us who you're going to pick. So let's not work on this thesis the other side, because we're trying to catch up to you.
So I haven't been in that position all year, so I'm honored.
All right, we're working our way over to the West Coast. The Rams against the Seahawks. Seahawks just got smacked by the Buffalo Bills, if anybody was watching, and they are underdogs. The Rams are 2-point favorites here in Seattle. John, why don't you lead us off this time?
It just feels like the Rams have more momentum right now. They just made it to what are they 4-4 now? And they've got a chance to get a win and then go into a bye week or something like that after this.
Maybe first place in the division if they win this game.
Yeah, after being 3-4 and facing 3-5. Actually, no. So they're coming off their bye. They played Thursday night a couple of weeks ago, right? So they're going to the bye. I can't remember if it's them or San Francisco who just got their bye. Anyway, all in that NFC West, it's still going to be up for grabs. They've got more momentum. I like them going into Seattle. Unless Seattle just shows up and has one of those games like they did against Atlanta randomly, but I don't know. I'll still go with the Rams with a healthy-ish Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Matt Stafford, man, I'm taking him. That's all.
Pat, what do you think?
Oh my God, this is insane, dude. You want to hear a crazy stat about how bad this Seattle Seahawks team is? No tackles for loss or sacks last week. So,
is that a credit to how bad the Seahawks are or to how good the Bills are?
I mean, maybe our line's really good, I guess. I don't know. But
that's abnormal, right? Like no run stuff, no nothing.
No sacks.
That's crazy.
Or tackles for loss.
Bills.
Yeah.
I wonder, is that one, so when Josh Allen fumbled it and kicked it forward, did that get credited as a sack?
No.
No sacks in the game.
No.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, he must have been like right at the line of scrimmage or something like that by that point. But that's crazy. So who are you going with this week? You going with the Rams? Nice.
So this brings us to the game of the week. We are looking at the divisional matchup yet again, the Bills versus the Dolphins. This time it is in Highmark Stadium, 1:00 Sunday kickoff. Should be nice. Tua looking to survive the game. The Bills are looking to take a stranglehold on the division. Bills are 6.5-point favorites. Interesting line. Pat, I'm starting with you just to get this out of the way. What do you think?
Well, Well, I'll take the loss in the game fix column every time if that's what it takes for the Bills to win. I think the win, 7 with the hook, that's a lot of points. So give me the Bills.
I like it.
I'm confused about what you just said.
Bills.
7 with the Bills. So Bills to win, not to cover.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry.
The Pat Cap Classic. Well, you guys know the rules. I got to go Bills. Circle the wagons, baby.
Go team, go. This little one-liner here, I would like to credit Mr. Toby Keith, R.I.P., but I will be singing a quick lyric from his song. Who's your daddy? Who's your baby? So yeah, go Bills. Go Bills. If he was a Bills fan, he'd be saying the same thing to the Dolphins.
I totally forgot that Toby Keith had passed away.
Yeah.
The extent of my country
too.
My country music knowledge kind of stopped at 12th grade because that was the last year. Well, actually, when I started driving to school, because
your last year,
my bus driver. Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Well, I moved to Nashville, so that's not really the reason.
Oh, that's so, dude. That's so funny. But like, there is no more. Like, is there an Oakfield in Nashville? Is there a one stoplight town with cows in your backyard?
They're all over the place. They're everywhere. Yeah. But the real reason is my bus driver loves country music. So I was forced to listen to country music every year.
Shout out Peggy.
Peggy, represent the washing machine bus. Number 81, I think it was. I don't know. Long
That's
since
funny.
been retired. And Peggy only retired a couple of years ago.
Yep.
They said she drove the bus to the moon in the back or something like that. As far as how many miles. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, but...
All right, guys, before we get off here, I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. My question to you is the Buffalo Bills wide receiver rookie, Keon Coleman, breaking out right now, right? And I'm watching him play. These last few games have been outstanding. And when these players get drafted, they get player comparisons to NFL players. And I just can't really put my finger on who Keon Coleman reminds me of, who has already been in the league. And I was wondering, do you guys have any suggestions? Do you have any ideas? I have a list here. Nobody's a perfect fit, but
the basketball comp is. Oh, sorry, John.
No. Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
The basketball comp's like a hard thing to really draw on because, when you think about the most prominent basketball players ever to play in the NFL, you're thinking, Antonio Gates and Julius Peppers. Donovan McNabb was a pretty good basketball player. Himself at Syracuse. So I don't know. It's hard to say really to have someone in that skill position. I guess maybe Randy Moss, but not Randy Moss. He doesn't have the physical traits. But
yeah, just any kind of player comp, basketball or otherwise.
Maybe Anquan Bolden too. I was thinking, I feel
maybe,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I struggle with this question too, because Brandon, you brought this up before. So I was thinking about it. Obviously, when he was drafted, we were trying to compare him to Mike Evans statistically. Obviously, their builds are very different. Mike Evans weighs more, I would guess, by a good bit. Keon's still a little bit thinner than that. Probably a little bit more agile. The thing is, Keon
he's not that fast though either. He ran a 4.61.
Yeah, but the 21 miles an hour in the cone drill, man, that's all you need.
Yeah, both of them didn't have fast 40 times, right? Like Mike Evans, they're not speed guys. They're contested catch guys. They're the same in that regard, but they're totally different when it comes to yak. Like Keon has a much higher yak ability that I don't even think I gave him credit for coming in. And you can see it not only on these contested catches where he's, turning around after he makes it and running down the sideline, but also in some of these tunnel screens that they're running for him. But I think I have a good comp for it, and it might have helped that we were just watching him last night, but I think George Pickens is the closest guy in today's NFL.
That's the first name I wrote down.
I think that's the closest guy that I can think of as far as a similar skill set.
George Pickens is good. Now, hear me out on these ones. I did also have Keenan Allen written down, maybe kind of a prime-ish Keenan Allen. Good route runner, good yards after catch. We'll see. He just seemed like a good, he could go get a ball if you needed to. Allen Robinson was somebody.
Yeah, he was good at one point, I guess.
In his prime, kind of the same build, 6'3"-ish. Never leading the league, but always over 1,000 yards in his prime, right? Allen Robinson, I think, if you remember watching him, kind of, and the slender, stronger, taller build.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of Keon. And then I have T. Higgins written down. The more that I watch Keon, he if you watch T. Higgins, they kind of look similar. I don't know how much yak T. Higgins gets as well, but to see T. Higgins go up for a ball that Joe Burrow puts up there, it's kind of similar. I don't know how closely I've watched T. Higgins to be able to make that comparison, but those are my names. And I put Mike Evans on there because I think it's still close.
Yeah. And Mike Evans, it's more of I feel like that's more when it comes to stats, right?
Yeah.
Like, and after the fact, and even Keenan Allen is much bulkier than, but George Pickens kind of has that same type of build, I think.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
So I think that's probably the closest thing in today's NFL. And even I can't remember guys like that going back really either.
No. Anquan Bolden's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. That would be my
but any of these guys that we're talking about in their prime are stars. They are difference makers on a team. They are true weapons that you have to be game planning against. So to have this guy and watching him flourish in front of us, it's awesome. It's like watching Allen develop. It's cool. It's from the get-go, right? We have seen this trail of evolution from everything. The O-line, right? They were so bad in Josh's rookie year, and Josh Allen himself. And we didn't get to see this with Diggs. He came here out of the box with batteries included, ready to be a superstar. And now we get to see, and Gabe Davis never took that next step. He was always pretty much the same player the whole time. So, and Shakir is doing it now too. So we get to see two very good receivers blossoming in front of our eyes. It's really cool.
Yeah. How we were sitting here, I don't know, it would have been 6 months ago, reacting live to the draft, right? As we looked on and recorded live to that. And all of us had our different freakouts about that trade back. A, because we had stayed up all night and they didn't take a player in the first round. And B, because we knew the gravity of giving a pick to Kansas City and how that can turn out, having done that with Patrick Mahomes. How do we feel now, 6 months removed, seeing what Xavier Worthy has done with the Chiefs and seeing what Keon Coleman has done with the Bills, in addition to the pick that they picked up, which I believe is the guy who just got injured?
Yeah.
Lil Wayne.
Help me out. Yes.
Dwayne Carter. Yeah.
Dwayne Carter. Dwayne Carter. Yeah. Couldn't think of his name. He just injured his hand and he's on IR now. That happened last week. But how do we feel about that? Do you feel like we won the trade?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think about what you say, though, when we're talking about the projections of a rookie wide receiver, and you gave us the numbers behind it, right? You're like, a receiver this big, at this size, at this age, needs to produce right away because they don't often hit that next level a couple of years later. So I was kind of thinking these slow starts that Keon had, I was nervous. But then now to see him really blossom, it's cool. He might come out 800, 900 yards season as a rookie, but that's good. I'm happy with that. But I think about what you said that, John, when we drafted him.
Yeah. It's an interesting debate for sure. And one that we should probably have on a future episode, after the season. It's because, obviously, Xavier Worthy's caught touchdowns. He's done that. But I think that Keon's a better fit for this team. I think that, as far as the Bills fit, they got their guy. They got the right guy at that part of the draft. So, when they weren't going to get Brian Thomas Jr., it was the right move, I think.
Yep.
But
statistically too, he probably will have more yards and receptions than anyone in the class, I would think.
Brian Thomas is
well, he's out for the season.
Yeah.
So
Brian Thomas is out for the season?
I don't think so.
Let me see.
I think he just had a big game, but I know also, Malik Neighbors has missed a couple of games, but he's probably going to lead the class in yards and receptions, I would think. But Keon's going to be in that top 4. He's going to leapfrog some guys that were taken ahead of him.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know why I thought he was hurt.
He was hurt, but I guess his MRI cleared him. The headline is Jags avoid catastrophe with Brian Thomas's injury update. So
nice. And unfortunate that Stephon Diggs did not have the same thing. I don't know if you guys saw it today, confirmed ACL tear out for the season. So
sad.
Pat, I can see this snarky look on your face. You're thinking about something snarky to say.
Who won that trade?
I didn't say that. I don't want to wish ill will on anyone here.
No,
I don't want to claim victory, as they say, as Niccolo Machiavelli says. Your enemy is most susceptible after a big victory. So I don't want to think about,
It's a good quote, Pat.
That is a good quote. But yeah, we wanted Stephon to be healthy throughout the entire year and lose in the playoffs. That's all we wanted. So.
I say that who won the trade, but you guys know I love Diggs. I got his jersey hanging on my wall. I stand up for him all day long. So
yeah,
that was disrespectful. I apologize.
It's all right. We're just joking. Don't take us too seriously. But anyway, that's all that's going to do it for us. You can find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. Remember, if you're buying, selling, or managing property in Western New York, call our guy, Zach Korzelius. That's 585-409-1088. That's 585-409-1088 for buying, selling, or property management in Western New York. Is the best realtor we know. Check him out. And we'll see you guys next week. And go Bills.
Go Bills.
Right, go Bills.